Vicky Arsenault, and you're listening to another episode of Faithing Your Fears. Well, hello again, you guys. I am excited about what is going to be coming up on this podcast because I want to start doing a series for a few weeks anyway that is going to be on stewardship. So stewardship is about managing all of the things that God has given you, whether it be your gifts and talents or whether it's the resources that He's given you. Whatever it is, we just want to be able to steward it well. I want to share with you from Matthew 25, verses 14 through 30. And the reason I want to share this, there are lots of different types of interpretations for this. You can take it literally, you can take it figuratively, and I take it in a way that applies to our lives now and just makes things really practical. I think it will apply to every single area of your life. So it starts with, again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I've gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. The man with 2 bags of gold also came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I've gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share in your master's happiness. And then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. Master, he said, I knew that you were a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid, and I went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here's what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed? Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. And throw this worthless servant outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Okay, so there's like a lot to unpack in this one section of scripture, but it's so good. And I'm not going to go into like a 30-minute sermon about this because there are so many good points. There are so many ways that you can look at this. What I really want to do is take it home right now so that it actually speaks to your life. I feel like when we have an understanding that everything in the world is God's and everyone in it is God's, then we don't have ownership of things. We are just stewarding something for God. And at your job, you want to do a good job. You want to get paid. You don't want to get fired, right? So you do a good job. Some people go above and beyond, and then they get promotions. Some people just do what they have to do. Okay, fine. At least they're doing what they're paid to do. And then you have the people that show up and want to get paid and don't want to do anything, right? And those people are going to get fired. So, we can apply the principles taught in this particular passage to all kinds of areas of life if you just want to recognize that we have to take ownership and have responsibility for our own actions and our own stewardship of life. So that comes with a lot of different looks. It can look like your job, like I was just saying. It could look like taking care of your body and making sure that you're stewarding your body well so that you stay healthy and strong and able to be able to do all the things God wanted you to do. It could come in the form of your finances. Your finances you think are yours, but it's God that gave you the ability to get wealth in the first place. It is because there is breath in your lungs that you are able to go out and make a living, right? So the money that you get is actually God's. Your time, it's God's time. Your health, your time, your money, your family, your children, everybody that's in your life, you get to steward these relationships. And like I said, steward means manage. You get to manage these things. You want to try to take these things, just like in the passage, you want to take them and you want to multiply them. You don't want to bury them in the ground where they don't even get interest. They don't get anything. They're just hidden. This guy did this because he was lazy. He's like the lazy person that shows up at work and eventually gets fired because they don't hold their end of the job up. Like when one person isn't doing what they're supposed to do, it affects everybody, right? So when you're a good steward, you actually set yourself up to be able to steward more, just like in this passage. I want you to just think about that and process that for a minute and think of the areas of your life that maybe you struggle with. Do you not have enough time? Look at your calendar and see where all of your time is going. How are you stewarding the 24 hours that you have in a day? Are you getting rested? Are you stressed out by all of the commitments that you've made? What about your finances? What if you were to take a look at your checking account or your credit card statement or whatever, and you look to see where all of the money that you've been earning goes? What would you see? And what about your health? Are you in a healthy weight? Are you able to sleep well at night? Are you taking medications to help maintain things? Not saying there's anything wrong with taking medications. I'm just asking, how are you stewarding? Are you taking all the action you can to be the best version of yourself, to have the best version of your finances, to be there for your spouse or your children or your parents or your friends, your nieces and nephews? Are you too busy to actually go when God says go, or give when God says give? You don't have enough to give? I just want you to think about this, because stewardship is a big deal. And maybe I've talked about this on a prior podcast, I don't remember. But I know that right now I feel very passionate about this, and I wanted to get it out there. Even if I have said it, I want to say it again, because it is so important as children of God to really take seriously the things that He's given us. Now, one of the things that he said in this passage, when the guy came back with the 5 bags of gold, imagine having bags of gold. Wouldn't that just be cool? Or a big giant briefcase of money. I don't know, somebody comes back to you with 2 briefcases of money. I mean, that's just kind of funny how they did things. But anyway, so imagine when the guy with the 5 and the guy with the 2 come back and they show the master, the owner of all of this money in the first place, that they doubled it. He's like, hey, come and share in my happiness. Isn't that so cool? You get to share in God's happiness. When you steward the things that He gives you well, He wants to give you more. He's going to put you in charge of more things, not to stress you out, but because He trusts you and He knows you're going to do well with the little that He's given you. Then He knows He can trust you. Now, how about if you had somebody that asked you if they could borrow? You were leaving and you said, you know what? I just want to keep this $1,000 in the bank with you, or I want to keep it with you because I don't want to spend it or whatever. I need to go away and you need to hold this money. And then they were like, well, you know what? She's been gone 6 months. Like, I haven't even heard from her in 6 months. So, I mean, I'm really tight on rent money this month. Maybe I'll just take like $300 and I'll pay it back eventually. And then you still don't really hear anything. And you maybe put $100 back in. So it's like, oh, okay. And then, like, 2 years later, I come back and like, hey, or you come back and it's like, hey, can I get that $1,000 now? Like, I really need that. And it's not even there. They didn't steward your money well. Not only is it not there, but there's less than what you gave them because they took ownership of it as though it was their own. Or even if they did replenish it and get it back to $1,000, it was just sitting in a drawer somewhere, so it's still $1,000. I mean, it's fine, but you know what I mean? It's like, it wasn't their money to use, and they used it without even asking to see if they could use it. So I don't know if that story really is going to make sense and resonate with you, but anyway, the point is that when you steward something well and you take really good care of it, people and God will trust you with more. And it's not to make it awful for you. It's to share in the happiness. So over the next few weeks, we're going to talk about those different areas that we're going to steward. And we're going to talk about each one. We're going to talk about finances. We're going to talk about health. We're going to talk about business things. We're going to talk about relationships. Because when you can learn to steward these things well, you're going to have so much more peace in your life. You're going to be able to really center your life around what matters most to you. It's going to help you keep your focus on the right things, the things that bring you joy, the things that bring you peace, the things that don't add extra stress to your life. And we're all going to have stress, of course. Like, that's just how life is. But even in the midst of that stress, you can still feel content and confident that you're on the right path. Like, there's this strange sense of peace that comes over you, even in stressful situations. Like, you just have this knowing on the inside that everything is going to be okay, even when it doesn't seem like everything is going to be okay. You've survived lots of things in the past, and you will continue to survive lots of things in the future. It's just how life is, guys. So that's what we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks. So I hope that you'll tune in. If you have questions too, like, reach out, because I love to hear questions, and I'm going to share with you a couple different resources that I have available over the next few weeks as well, in case you want to learn to steward these things even better. So anyway, I hope that you have a fantastic week. I hope that you are enjoying this podcast, and that you'll just share it with your friends if you think there's any value that they can get from it. And I hope that you'll come over on Facebook and see me at Coach Vicky Arsenault. So have an amazing week, you guys. I just know God's going to do some great things in your life this week. I know He's going to do some great things in my life this week. So I'm excited, and I'm living with expectation. So I hope you are too. Have a fabulous day, guys, and I'll see you next week.